Morning. There are plenty of fish in the sea. This is an idiom that many of you are familiar with. For many recently unlucky singles, it is a phrase that rekindles a very, very hopeful flame within their hearts. How many single people do we have in? Ready to mingle? Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but the idiom is nothing but lies. The world is running out of fish. But fortunately for you, I am not talking about the fish in the romantic variety, but rather the marine variety. Thank you. I'll be here all day. Well, lame I know, but don't laugh, because this is actually a very sad but startling truth. As one of the first and now the last frontiers of hunter-gathering, the world's oceans are being exploited by the international fishing industry, stirring up some significant and dire consequences. If by any reason you cannot believe the things that I'm about to tell you this morning, please go home and research like I have, and you'll be able to find an ocean of resources for you to catch, unlike the fishes. Okay, well, how does this concern us? Well, many fish stocks are approaching near extinction, and one's favorite mealtime fishes, such as the bluefin tuna, are disappearing from many restaurants and our dining tables. However, overfishing is not just a problem that impacts our dining habits, but it creates severe repercussions for the ocean's ecology and the fishing industry itself. Overfishing is a commercial fishing practice which depletes the world fisheries by overexploiting certain fish stocks. For example, the bluefish tuna. As you can see, the year and how much of the fish has been caught, it correlates. As the years go by, overfishing brings the amount of catch that is brought in from near limitless potential all the way down to the bottom in 2005. Trends are also observable through research statistics in the UN FAO's, UN Food and Agriculture Organization's biannual report, SOFIA, which stands for the State of World Fishing and Agriculture. According to the 2010 report, 52 fish stocks are considered to be fully exploited, 20 are moderately exploited, 17 are overexploited, and 7% are depleted, and only 1% is recovering from actual depletion. In combination, almost 80% of the world fish stocks are in danger of collapse, such as the bluefish tuna, which is actually a very, very rare commodity. And, I did not zoom in like that. Well, declining fish populations have become disastrous to the ecological balance of the oceans. According to Benjamin Harder, a science journalist for New Science News magazine, skimming large and medium-sized fish off the top of the oceanic food webs have left a disproportionate fraction of marine animals at the lower end of the food chain. As ecosystems become bulky at the bottom and scarce at the middle and the top, large predators hunt smaller and smaller organisms. These irregularities within the food webs expose large fishes to extreme variations in their food supply. That destabilizes the populations of the fish and makes the predators more vulnerable to environmental and climatic changes. Overfishing creates a cascading effect up and down the natural ecological food web, affecting every organism in the balance. For example, if we look here, the apex predators are on the top, and fishes that we usually eat, such as the bluefin tuna, are down at the middle. By killing off all the fishes in the middle, this makes predators hunt for more smaller and smaller fishes, which eventually makes the predators run out of food. They die off. These guys proliferate, and then the algae and the phytoplankton just take over, and there you go. Everything's just the cascading effect just destroys everything. Aside from the threats of overfishing imposes upon the ecosystems of the world's ocean, there are direct economic consequences for the fishing industry. It is a vicious cycle. The depletion of fish stocks creates a catastrophic cycle of exploitation. According to Benjamin Harder, as certain fishes become rare and individual fisheries, such as those that harvest California sardines and New England collapse, Commercial fishers turned their attentions elsewhere. The discovery of more abundant fish stocks in less exploited waters masked for decades the falling yields of populations and species. The exhaustion of one fishery after another pressures the fishing industry to search for more replacements. When the industry exploits the replacements, it researches for new fisheries again, creating a cycle of overexploitations. The fish stocks are not replenishing. As one fishery runs out, the fishing companies would go back. They would look for more and find that there are less and less fisheries to go back to get their resources. Global exploitation of many seafood stocks, which began in the 1970s when the new technologies encouraged the tremendous intensification of fishing to meet the world's rising demand for seafood. Despite growing awareness of the problem and efforts to address it by government officials and fishers alike, many fish stocks around the globe crashed, producing a genuine crisis. This pushes the prices of many selective species to new levels, and popular fish, such as the bluefin tuna, became rare commodities. I'd like to show you an example of that. This right here is one of my favorites. It is bluefish sushi, bluefish tuna sushi. In fact, it became so rare that a single bluefish tuna was sold at an exorbitant sum of $736,000 at an auction in Japan. As fish prices increase higher and higher, the fishing industry chokes itself through its own practices. By overfishing, it takes away the very resources that make up its livelihood. Overfishing is a cruel practice for not only the various life forms that are being exploited, but also for us, the humans who exploit without thinking about future consequences. It isn't just about losing our favorite seafood dishes, but about the potential destruction of all the ocean's ecosystems and the dismantling of our very own fishing industry. I will now conclude my speech with a short video recap. Sorry, technical difficulty.
Because it's a reflective surface, you have to put it on a non-reflective surface, like a paper. Put it on a paper.
I did, so I think it's low on the.
The hub's on the dashboard.
By 2048. However, reversing the destruction may only take a decade. How can you help? Over 3/4 of our planet is covered by ocean, containing 80% of life on Earth. Overfishing leads to an overall degradation of the ocean system. Fishing fleets are larger than needed. Unselective fishing processes cause tremendous destruction. Bycatching and bottom trawling leads to a collapse of the ocean's ecosystem and loss of a valuable food source. A Dalhousie University study shows that seafood may disappear by 2048. However, reversing the destruction may only take a decade. How can you help? Make sure you know what you eat. Pick the fish with the lowest impact. Spread the word to your friends. Be informed. Overfishing is driven by global demand. Lowering the demand will lower the damage. We need to act now before total destruction.
I'm glad I didn't have to follow you.
Steven, what did you think?
I thought it was an interesting topic, and you had a good opening and visuals. I also like how you stated your sources and you